Hi, today I'm going to show you how to make a cute photo frame out of polymer clay, and I'd say this frame is better for smaller photos. So I have lots of kind of small photos like this that are passport sized, and I don't have any frames for them, so I decided to try and make some myself. So to make the frame, what you'll need is clay. I'd recommend using about a block. And if you're going to have, like I have, I've done a stripy cane on the front, and then I've done a different colour on the back. So you can have maybe half a block of one colour and then half a block of another colour. But you'll need quite a lot of clay for it. You'll also need a cutting blade, and I usually use a bigger one. You'll also need a pen and some fairly thick paper, because you're going to have to make a template. You might need to have some card as well, because I like to copy the template onto cardboard, so I use some Christmas plates for that, paper plates, or you can use a cereal box for the card as well, so a little bit on the thick side. And then again, this is optional. These are texture sheets by Makins, and this has sort of got like a flowery print on it, or you can use lace or spare fabric as well, and that will make a nice texture on the clay to decorate the back or the front of it as well. So first what you need to do is, sorry, I need to get these out of the way, is you need to make a template to make the right size for your photo, and also to get the pattern, sorry, the shape of it. So what I did first is I just took my paper and I took the photo, and then I just drew an outline. Now the photo that I'm using today is exactly 4.6 centimeters by 3.5 centimeters, so it really is quite small. And then what you need to do next is you need to think, how big do you want the surrounding part to be? And again, if I show you my frame, it's quite chunky, so what I did is I measured 1.5 centimeters up. So I'll just show you again. So that's 1.5 centimeters up from the edge of the photo, and then to keep the photo from sliding out, you can put like a plastic film over it, but I've chosen not to do that. So the frame is going to go over the photo a little bit, stop it from falling out, and to keep it secure. So what I've done is I've gone in 0.5 centimeter from the top of the photo. So I'm going to draw all around the edges like this, and then obviously I'm going to go all the way around like this, and that's going to create the sort of the shape for the frame. So in total it's going to be 2 centimeters around the photo, the frame. So after you do that, it will come out something like this, and then all you need to do is cut the square out. So what I've done is I've traced around the photo, I've measured about 0.5 centimeter in, and then I've kind of put lines of, basically this is where you're going to see the photo. This is how much of the photo you'll see when you finish. And I've labelled it back, and then I've traced the same shape again on the same piece of paper, and then what I've done is again outlined the part that I want to see of the photo, and then I've taken a Stanley blade or an X-Acto blade and then just cut in a square shape, and then just cut the rest of the paper out, so that leaves the window part for the frame. So that's the first step, and then after that I took the paper and some old card from a Christmas paper plate, and then I cut them out again and put them in card, because I just find that easier. You don't have to do that, you can just keep it in paper if you like, and again make sure that everything's lined up and fits nicely, otherwise your frame's going to come out wonky. So that's the first part. So you're going to need to cut out your clay, and you'll need to take your clay, condition it first of all, and then you're going to, if you have a pasta making machine, you need to roll the clay through on a setting of 1, and that will be about 2 millimeters thick. What I've done with this piece of clay is I've taken one of the texture sheets and I've just rolled it gently over the clay, so then I have some texture for the back part of the photo frame. And then here's the front of the photo frame, and I've just left it plain, and again I put down the template and just took an X-Acto blade and then cut around it and made sure that it's nice and accurate. The thing with the clay is make sure that it's firm clay, because if it's kind of really sticky or really soft like Sculpey 3, it's going to distort and it's going to bend out of shape when you cut it. So it's really important that if your clay is a little bit sticky or a little bit soft, that you leach it first, and then it's ready and it's nice and firm, and it's going to keep the shape really nicely. So I'm going to take my back template, which I've done in card, and I'm just going to finish the back. And I'm just using one of basic polymer clay cutting blades for that. It's really easy. All you do is just cut around your templates. Once you have them all measured, it's really simple after that. Just make sure everything's lined up well and that you keep it nice and clean. And if there's any funny edges, you just want to get rid of them. So that will give me a back and a front. It doesn't take too long to make. The most important thing is that your template works, that it fits nicely, you're happy with the size of it, and that the clay is nice and firm. So obviously, I mean, you can't just have it like that because you need to be able to fit the photo in. So this is when it gets a little bit more fiddly. I'm going to take my photo and I'm going to place it in the middle, and I'm just going to lay over the front piece, and I'm going to make sure that I see what I see I like. So I'm happy with the way that lines up. I can see all three of us clearly. It looks good. So I'm just going to roll it off gently, leave it to one side, and then the next step is I need to have something to raise the top part of the bottom, so then I can slide the photo in. So what you need to do is you need to roll another separate piece of clay, and if you have a pasta making machine, you need to put it through on a setting of 4. And if you're rolling it with a rolling pin, then you will need to make sure it's just under 2 millimeters thick. It needs to be a bit thinner than the top and the bottom, otherwise you'll just end up with a really, really clunky looking frame. So you want to make sure, sorry that just came out, yep, that's okay. You want to make sure that this part is nice and thin. So what you're going to do is you're going to line up the top of this thinner slice of clay, and you don't want it right next to the photo, otherwise when you try and put the photo in it will be too tight. So you want to leave a very slight gap, and you want it to be in a dead straight line, and you're just going to press that down lightly. And then I did the same with another piece of clay like so, and I'm going to line it up with the top, and again I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap because I want it to slide in nice and easily. And again you want to make sure that goes down in a nice straight line. You want to smooth that over a little bit with your finger. And then finally you're going to need another separate piece, and that's going to be to kind of jam the picture in at the bottom. So I'm just going to lay that down. Now that does need to match the photo. I mean, go straight on a line with the photo. So I'm just going to cut that away. And then again, I'm going to make sure, like making a box, all the lines are going to meet up. And I'm going to press down with the blade, and I'm just going to tear that away. And again, I'm just going to go down with my blade to make sure that I got all of that off. Okay. So that's going to keep the frame in from when I push it. So I'm going to remove the picture, which now I want to remove it won't come out. Take over the frame, and then I'm going to slice away those bits with the blade. And again, try not to distort the shape of the frame by pulling at it too much. Try and keep this all neat and tidy as possible. So there you have kind of like the slots for where you're going to put the frame in. And then again, I would just place it back in there as if you were to, slip it in as a photo. And then again, just check that everything really measures how you want it to measure. And again, I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the photo through there, and everything seems to line up nicely, so I'm happy with that. So the next step is to put the front of the frame on. And again, always line up the corners of the rectangle. Make sure everything looks neat and tidy. And it does. And there we go, just pat gently along the edges. The problem when you're cooking is you don't want this part to sink in. So taking some more spare bits of that paper plate, or again you can use a cereal box, you need to slot it in like so to stop the clay from caving in, and you really don't want it to do that because it'll just sink in and you won't be able to put anything in that. That's the last thing you want. And again, I'm going to just quickly cut another piece off with my blade. Do that quickly. I'm just going to insert another piece into this box because I really don't want it to cave in on me. And pull it along. So there you have the frame protected. It's not going to kind of pop out. I just need to push it down and make sure everything's fit nicely. So then everything will slide in and it won't have sort of, sunken in while it's cooking. There we go. So I have a nice textured back. And then finally you need something to prop the picture up with. So my idea was pretty simple. I just cut out a single rectangle of clay, and again this is the same as the bottom and top parts. It has to be rolled on a setting of 1 on your pasta machine or at 2 millimeters thick. That thickness works really nicely. And then it's about 3.5 centimeters across and goes down about 5 centimeters. And all you need to do for that is, I'm just going to fold over the top a little bit to make it look a little bit more fancy, if you could say that. I'm just going to roll it over like a scroll, and then I'm going to put it in the middle of the frame, and I'm just going to press it and then curl the bottom edge up, and that should hold. I'm going to push that in a little bit more, and that should hold quite nicely. If you want to put some bacon bond before you place it on, you can do that as well, but I'm just going to stick it like this because I find that this works perfectly fine by itself. And then next step is just to cook it. Please cook in a well ventilated area, and please follow the instructions on the packet for cooking. And I put it in for about 30 minutes at 125, and this is Primo Sculpey. But if you want firmer clay, then the clay that's usually the firmest, or one of the firmer clays, brands of clay, is Donna Cato clay. But I'm using Primo Sculpey today. Yeah, I mean, before I used the clay, I made sure I put it in the fridge for about an hour, and that really stopped it from getting gooey and sticky. Otherwise, this wouldn't have worked very well. But you can try it in any colours you like. You can put a different colour on the front to the back. You can use lace to texture the clay. You can use anything you like just to make it, more personal and kind of more to your taste. And I think that's pretty much everything that you need to know. This is another one I made in lemon, and again I took a texturizing plate and I just sort of rolled the clay a little bit over it with my rolling pin, and it gave it this nice crisscross look. And again, a simple scroll back, and then it's really easy just to insert my photo in it. It makes a nice alternative to using a photo book, because I really like my little photos, but I don't have that many miniature frames, and you can personalise it and put it any colours you like. If you have any questions or comments, then please leave them below, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you for watching. Okay, goodbye.